Targeted by police while behind the wheel because of the color of your skin. Some even call it driving while black. In an effort to curb racial profiling, North Carolina was the first state to demand the collection and release of traffic stop data. But is it working? And we also wanted to know the chances of a person of color being pulled over and their vehicle searched by Raleigh police. Our research found those chances are high, and we wanted to know why.
I went to get some wings from Wingstop, came down Capitol.
Frankie Dixon is a driver by trade. From semi-trucks to Uber, he makes his living behind the wheel. But behind the wheel is where Dixon believes he's also a target.
So he pulled me over and I told him he didn't have probable cause. I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with it. Then he put me in a police car and they took everything out my car and put it on the ground.
Dixon says he's seen the blue lights flashing in his rear view multiple times over the years. Each time he says the officer stopped him for a supposed traffic violation, which leads to a search of his car.
I think they think I got drugs or something.
But I did some digging and found no drug convictions for Dixon.
Once every 10 or 15 years, perhaps one might be pulled over or asked a few questions. But that's not the reality in what the police would refer to as a high crime area.
Frank Baumgartner literally wrote the book on traffic stop searches and racial disparity in North Carolina. In Suspect Citizens, Baumgartner looks at 22 million traffic stops over 20 years. The numbers are all self-reported by law enforcement agencies throughout the state.
Well, everybody's heard of the concept of driving while black, so I was curious about whether there would be strong statistical evidence to support those allegations.
What the data showed left no doubt in his mind. In the state of North Carolina, black male drivers are about 96% more likely to be searched once pulled over than their white male counterparts.
A young black man walking on his way to school or going to work has a very high probability of being pulled over and investigated.
Officers are allowed to search vehicles during a traffic stop if the officer suspects the driver of criminal activity. Here's a look at the numbers in Raleigh. From January of 2014 to January of 2019, Raleigh police recorded 9,504 traffic stops with searches involving male drivers. Of those stops, 6,612 of those male drivers were black. That's 70%. Raleigh's African-American population, just 29%. Baumgartner says the racial disparity in the numbers just don't add up.
We can infer from the data that the police are first deciding they want to have a look at that person, and then they're using the traffic code or the vehicle code to find an excuse, a legally justified excuse to have a conversation with that person.
We requested a sit-down interview with Raleigh Police Chief Cassandra Deck Brown to discuss the racial disparity in stops and searches in her department. After asking at least 3 times, we received a one-sentence email saying, quote, "The chief is not available for this interview," end of quote. But other local departments like Chapel Hill have seen the numbers, realized the issues, and it's made them rethink their policies.
We've de-emphasized an awful lot of low-level kind of traffic enforcement that the numbers clearly show have a disproportionate effect on communities of color. Our officers are still making traffic stops. The quality of their traffic stops has gone up. The number of unnecessary searches has gone down.
As for Dixon, he says he'll continue to drive and obey the law, but says his confidence in law enforcement continues to wane.
It made me feel like there's nobody out here protecting us at all. If something really happens that's serious at the end of the day, then you might as well handle it yourself.
Baumgartner says Fayetteville is another example of a city that's gone away from using traffic stops as a form of investigating potential crimes. He tells me community trust has improved there, and the numbers indicate the crime rate has gone down as well.